So, with you wanting to speak about the recent ICE raids in Chicago, what really inspired you to want to talk about this?
Well, seeing that a building was raided in the South Shore area of Chicago, which is a city that I also live in and everything. Um, Once I saw that a raid happened at 1 a.m. in the morning, I felt like that was very, it felt close to home because that can happen to me and everything. So I really thought I thought it was very important to, look into this situation and try to get answers on why that building in the South Shore area was targeted and everything.
So, you ended up going over there.
Yes.
Who were some of the people that you ended up speaking with?
Actually, I ended up meeting some amazing people over there. I met Zach, which is one of the tenants of the building that was raided. Eugene Baylock, which is another good person I met. He owns Locks. He's a founder of Locks Barbecue Sauce, another black businessman. CT was another person that owned property that's from that area and live in that community. So I met some amazing people, and I'm glad that I met them because, especially Zach, because I was able to get a first person view and a person that lived through it and went through that night story and what happened and what he's seen and witnessed.
How bad was the raid?
It was really bad.
But this is how you trash a building. Residents were terrorized. Children have been crying. Children were thrown on the ground, zip tied. We're not going to go in there. And now this building has been vacated.
Days after ICE agents conducted a late-night military-style raid on a South Shore apartment building, congressional lawmakers offered the press a tour inside. On the same day, Governor J.B. Pritzker told a national audience that the search for a few criminals quickly turned into a siege.
They were going after a few gang members, and instead they broke windows, they broke down doors, they ransacked the place, and there were people that were held, elderly people and children zip-tied.
It was led by ATF, U.S. Border Patrol, and the FBI on top of ICE and everything. They raided a apartment complex, bust through people apartments, zip-tied children, zip-tied women. They went in there looking for undocumented immigrants, but they end up detaining regular black and brown Americans until further notice. So me going into that area and speaking to the people in that community and speaking to tenants that lived in that building, realizing how bad that was and how scary it was for a lot of people, made me want to look at ICE as a whole. And we are back. This is the Common Knowledge Podcast. We got your host, Ken the Analyst. I'm here with my co-host today, NoID.ols, aka NoID. How you feeling today?
Feeling pretty good. A lot of turmoil in the city.
Yeah. Speaking of turmoil, I had a good friend, D'Amica, shout out. She had sent me a quote. It was a really powerful quote and everything. It starts off with, when they came for me and there was no one left to speak for me and everything. That's pretty powerful and everything, especially what's going on outside in the city and what's going on with the Hispanic community, what's going on with the Venezuelans, what's going on with the blacks. This is a real serious time that we need to really stick together.
Especially because just thinking about that right there, like it said at the end, when they came for me, there was nobody left to speak. Really, like, it felt like this wasn't nothing that we needed to be thinking about, because like ICE, immigration control, they've been around since right after 9/11.
Yeah.
So right after 9/11, they was in place, to help with the TSA, the
Border Patrol.
enforce border patrol. So like they were just harassing Middle Eastern people. You look like you could be a terrorist. They're gonna harass you, whatever.
Yeah.
But now it's been expanded over time, and where they're at right now, like they started off harassing the Hispanic community, but that was based on Donald Trump's racist agenda, which is also to make up for his shortcomings with his whole Build the Wall initiative.
Yeah.
Remember, he was trying to build the wall. He said he was going to build the wall.
And have them pay for it?
Yeah. I'm going to have them pay for it. No, you did. So he failed miserably at that. So he still wanted to run on immigration and trying to say how immigration is hurting us so bad, but he also couldn't build the wall. So he tried to.
He's placing blame. He's looking for someone to place blame, or someone to place blame on. All right, so
Yeah, I mean, but like also, it's also to bring the heat off his failure.
yeah,
So he invested so much more money. So I think I'm not sure of the exact, but it's over $100 billion into ICE.
yeah.
But so now you invested all this money into ICE to try to push your immigration. But
It's a little bit deeper than immigration. It's part of it, maybe it's the cover, but it's more deeper than that, because even in the situation that happened in the South Shore neighborhood and everything, they not only they took out some of the immigrants, but they also took out regular citizens too and everything.
I mean, they've been doing that. They've been expanding their power and they overreaching.
Yes.
But it just started like them saying that they had to get immigrants. But like when Donald Trump invested so much money into them, now that's got to be used. So they bringing in, they had this huge budget. And they didn't even have the manpower. So they started bringing in all of these underqualified people to work for ICE. And those people got their own racist agenda. So like they bringing in unqualified people that has more power because they're federal. They have more power than most police and most state bodies, and they're not even trained.
Well, they're not, they don't have the same time in, so it's not like the same years in. But they are getting trained, but they just not. It's just the training's been expedited.
Yeah, I mean, but like,
it's been expedited.
They expedite. Quick as hell. These people are untrained.
Yeah, so stuff that normally, stuff that normally take years, they're just shoving it down their throat and like, here, you're good enough. You can pass the fitness test. You're good enough. Because also they also getting assistance by like the U.S. Border Patrol, also by the FBI, also by the ATF, which also help leading with these raids and everything.
That helps them on the power end of it, but it's also even taking a step below them. If we look at police, like I was saying, like I have a strong sense of justice in doing what's right, and based on my personality, I thought that like I would have tried to become a cop because like they supposed to be helping people, they supposed to protect and serve or whatever.
Yeah.
But then when I realized that being a cop is not just about helping people, but it's also about the quotas.
Yeah.
So they have to meet these numbers because it's basically a business. At the end of the day, you extracting money from the people. So to bring that back up to ICE, they have a certain amount of immigrants that they have to ship off.
Yes.
And they are doing anything to meet those numbers because they have a huge budget.
Yeah.
Their budget was inflated to over $100 billion. So now it has to be justified. So let's see what they're here for. So they are running through the streets of Chicago, snatching anybody up. I saw a video. They just harassing some regular Hispanic man.
Yeah.
And they so untrained that it's two guys and they can't even get them cuffed.
And
but then like the other Hispanics, they like basically ran those two ICE agents off because they couldn't get the guy cuffed, and then the pressure of the crowd like scared them away because they was basically trying to kidnap this man.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you want to get in real quick?
No. I just want to chime in on what you're saying, right? So, like, what they when you speak about the ICE, the immigrants custom enforcement, we got to speak about like what is it that they are like their laws, what is it that they can do, and then when is it a point where they are abusing their authority, right? So the whole thing with them is they supposed to come up to people, anybody that seems suspicious or anybody that's seem like a illegal immigrant. They supposed to just ask them some questions, and then if they don't get the answers they're looking for, then they take them in for further questions. But now, like what you're saying about the Hispanic guy and everything, like that could be almost illegal because
what they doing is illegal, and they're skating around the law. So what's happening here? If we look at state prisons, like it's more prisons being built in colleges because prisons are privately owned. So they would build a prison, and then they get guarantees from the state that they have to have this many inmates in the prisons.
Yeah.
But that's just on a national level.
Mm-hmm.
What Donald Trump has done, it's almost terrifying. So like in El Salvador, they have a death camp called CCOT.
CCAT is not hell, because even hell has a way out. This place holds cold-blooded killers, the leaders who have spread terror across the globe. And within these steel walls, not only freedom is buried, but also the last remnants of humanity.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And he has a backdoor deal with the El Salvador president that he can ship these illegal immigrants to CCOT as long as they're criminals. Right.
Yeah.
So what they're doing, they're kidnapping a bunch of immigrants and anybody that they think looks Mexican. That's why they target in those areas. And they are just snatching them up, then trying to see if they have any criminal history later.
Yeah.
And if they have any criminal history, they're going to CCOT.
Yeah.
And if they go to CCOT, they will die. So
they looking for warrants and things of that nature.
No, anything.
They're
looking for any reason that they can say that they are criminal. And then so like CCOT, if you get sent to CCOT, you don't make it out, you will die there. Because in the country, in our prisons and jails here, we have different laws that they have to abide by.
Yeah.
So
that kind of protects them slightly.
So once they get people to CCOT, that's over international waters, and now it's an executive issue. And who's the head of the executive branch? Donald Trump is.
Yeah.
So once you end up in CCOT, there's nothing that nobody can do that can help you. So they ended up kidnapping a guy, and he's fighting a case right now. His name is Kilmar Abrego Garcia.
Yeah.
And they snatch him, but they fast track him to CCOT by accident. But his family ends up getting a lawyer, and they're like, he's not a criminal. And it ended up getting national media attention. So now Donald Trump is getting pressure, and the government is getting pressure. Like, y'all took this man, and so they started trying to tell different lies.
Yeah.
They tried to say he was a member of the MS-13.
Yeah.
Gang.
I saw that.
I
saw that. Yeah.
They tried to say he was in there. And
they sorry about that, but they even tried to put fake tattoos on him.
Yeah.
I saw
I don't like that. That was a lie. That was a lie. So and then it was a period of time that nobody heard from him. They was like, is he dead? And they was trying to tell all these lies, trying to get him to stay there. And why they was fighting it so hard is because if he came back, he would be able to explain what he saw there. And what he saw there, because he ended up getting back. They ended up getting him. It was a long fight. But when he got back, what he said he saw was terrible. Everybody in there, you don't make it out of there. You go to CCOT, you're going to die. And they have a pile of bodies. Because, they don't let nobody in, and they don't let nobody really investigate. But, over on the Google Maps, they had a pile of bodies on the Google Map image stacked up of these people. And it's like he was there for 2 weeks, and in the first 2 weeks, he lost 31 pounds.
And they starving them.
So, you're barely eating. They do have El Salvador prisoners in there that really are gang members. Yeah. So they just sending regular immigrants that they snatching up from here to CCOT, and they in there with a whole different group of people. People are dying. So it's and then in an interview, Donald Trump, he whispers to the El Salvador president on the left mic, yeah, we got to build a few more. We got to build 3 more. So if has a deal with the El Salvador prison, it's just like in America, you got to guarantee that you can have those filled. You got to justify them being built.
Yeah.
So if he's telling him that he wants to build 2 or 3 more, that means you got to fill them. How you going to fill them? You got ICE running around, snatching people up off the streets.
Well, well, you know, he's practicing something, and I don't think he will be able to. I don't think his plan will follow through because right now you got Congress, you got other branches of the government that's also fighting back. You know, telling him even right now what's going on with ICE, they're not really giving him the 100% green light on every move that he made. So they right now, as we speak, they try to put a pause on it and everything. It's just Trump acting on his own accord, and he has a group of following people. He got a group of people following him. It's almost like that situation that happened when they stormed the Capitol, right? You know, like no government would have approved that and everything. Nobody would have approved that. But the thing is, the people did it. Like we're not listening to nobody but him, and that's when it's a little bit more dangerous. With the, you know, it's kind of like history in a different country, right? In Germany, it's kind of almost like the situation that happened in Germany and everything. Like it started off with them just pulling certain people off and building little jails and putting them in jails and changing the rules and things of that nature. But in order for that to succeed, it had to be complete chaos within the people. And right now we're still together. So I don't think Trump is going to be able to really execute this. I think right now he's forcing, he's reaching, but it's gonna get to a point where he makes so many bad mistakes that it's like legal things will happen to him in real time and right before our eyes and everything. I mean, do you feel like that's possible? Because the only way he can continue down this road and everything, he's gonna have to break a ton of laws. Because now you're looking for people, and now it's gonna get to a point that he's sending innocent people down there, and no one's gonna stand for that. Not even both branches, the Republicans and the Democrats. No one's gonna sit back and just watch him do that to everybody.
So that also connects with like you was talking about in Germany.
Yeah,
how Hitler ended up rising to power, like you were saying before.
He got everybody divided by lies, bigotry, and
he capitalized.
Yeah, he capitalized on people frustration. So when you think about Hitler, you know, he pretty much rise to power based off of people being divided and people being confused, and that is what Trump is trying to do. But as long as we stick together, his plans will not work and everything.
So what Trump is trying to, and that is true, but he's trying to build up Project 2025. And the ultimate goal, what he connects with Project 2025, is him turning the government from the democracy it is now, that he can't be pushed out of office, because this is his last term. He can't run again.
Yeah. And, you know, it's crazy that you say that, because that's exactly what happened in Germany, because it was a Democratic party. And once he got in, he dismantled the whole thing. So
Donald Trump then sent ICE to all the major Democratic cities, L.A., New York, Chicago. That's what they're doing here now. Yeah. So the picture he's trying to paint is that the Democratic cities are out of control, so the Democrats cannot run again. So y'all should just trust me. And if he gets most of the country to agree with that, he can enact Project 2025, and he can be basically an emperor king, because he can't be ruled out. But it's also,
how old is he? He only got
that's the thing. I'm like, how are you so greedy? You're so greedy, and how much time do you have?
80, bro?
we
ain't gonna get much long.
I'm not gonna say, the other word, but hopefully he gets a nice, peaceful, extended sleep, because he got to get out of here. He acting like he got 20 more years left. You don't have that, but that's his goal. That's what he's trying to enact.
Yeah,
and if he could just show that it's so much confusion in Democratic ran cities, that can help him push his agenda.
Yeah, pretty much, have us fighting amongst each other and everything, right? And then, of course, it can work I mean, I don't want to say it will work, but it can work if we keep, feeding into the false news, or if we don't really look at each other as neighbors and things of that nature and everything. But right now, you're right. The whole thing that's going on right now with the Democratic states is we the most violent ones. We the ones that have the most crime. We the ones that have the most killings and things of that nature. And he's trying to convince the rest of the world that, and it's not really true.
Yeah, because it's like in numbers we have the most. But why is that? It's just that we have more people. We're more densely populated.
Yeah.
So you can blow that out of proportion. And what he's trying to do, like with the immigrants, it really, it was a problem that was going unnoticed. Because it's like if one group is getting harassed, like you're like, okay, that's messed up, but it doesn't really affect anything that's going over here. But he just spreading that power out. And I saw, with the raid you was talking about in Chicago,
Yeah.
it was a black dude getting choked out by an ICE agent, almost died.
Correct. And this is the part where, because right now a lot of you, when I go on social media, I see a lot of black people like, well, now they know how we feel, and well, now what it's like to be harassed, and you can't move around with this whole mentality of, well, if it's not me, it's not my problem. No, it is your problem, and it's going to be your problem very soon if you don't like really stand up and say something, all because it's not your race, or all because it's not involve you. It does involve you because, granted, yes, they are illegal, but are they? And they may have came here illegally, but there's processes here. Like once you get here, they still got to give them a chance to get processed, or there's still laws that they have to follow before they just snatch people up and put them in zip ties at 1 a.m. and everything.
And the worst thing about them is that Donald Trump, he tries to fearmonger, and people, the Republicans, they try to fearmonger, saying like the immigrants are stealing your job. All of the studies show that immigration, the more people here, the better the economy is, because we need people to do the work. Right. And a lot of those illegals was doing those low-paying jobs.
Yeah.
Like that happened out in Florida. They was running through there, snatching up a bunch of immigrants, and then all of the farmers didn't have nobody to work the fields. They was like, oh, well, now I'm affected. Oh, well, you didn't think about that? You didn't think about these people that who wants to go plow in your field for $4? Nobody.
You're like, you really thought black person was gonna apply for that after slavery?
Yeah, but just looking at what all of the Hispanic population and those immigrants is really going through. Like I've been through a lot as a black man in America.
Yeah.
But I'm not scared to send my child to school, besides the school shooters, but that's something else. But like I saw a story that the ICE agents, they are kidnapping kids on their way back from school, and then when the parents gotta, where's my child at? You call ICE, they like, oh yeah, we have your child. Come on down here. Now we got the family.
The whole family. And that's the part when it's illegal, right? That is illegal. You cannot snatch. If like I said, they are supposed to get people they feel like it's suspicious, that's here illegally and everything. They can't prove if that child is legal or illegal. So they just take it. That's a risk. They're just gambling, right? So that's 100% illegal if they can't prove that child don't belong here.
And they know what they're doing is wrong. If you see the ICE agents, they do everything they can to keep their face covered.
Yeah.
And they won't identify themselves like police. Yeah. They want no badge numbers, no nothing to keep their face covered. So like even like I said, was talking about earlier, it was 2 ICE agents trying to get the Mexican dude.
Yeah.
And the city got him off him. But like as they struggling to get him cuffed, his mask started lifting up. Mm-hmm. And he was doing everything he can to hold the mask down, to the point of letting the person that he was trying to quote unquote arrest, he let him go just so he could pull the mask down, because like they do not want their identity shown.
They want to know why? One of the reasons why, because some of them there's a great chance that a lot of them are posing as government.
Yeah, and that's also
that's illegal. Yeah, right.
But it's also a problem because it's like, so they have nobody that they have to answer to, and they don't have to identify themselves, no badge number, no nothing. What's stopping somebody from just putting on an ICE uniform basically and harassing people? It's nothing that will stop them, because like how do we know that these people are official? We really don't.
We don't. Yeah. So with that, that's why we really got to stick together right now. So right now, if we see anything or you see a person attacking or harassing somebody and it look like a group of people, this is going to be the time where the people, white, black, brown, it don't matter, really stand up and really help whoever they're attacking and making sure that they're following protocol, because there is a protocol. ICE is real. That is a real thing. There is real protocol. There is real border patrol and things of that nature. But that real organization do have badges. They do have identification number. They are employees of the government, and they do have to also show form of ID stating that they work for the government. No one can just say, hey, I work for ICE. And then we don't have to abide by that all because you say you work for ICE. Like, yo, we can ask for their badge and everything.
They will not give it up. So I saw a video. It was 3 Hispanic dudes, a father and 2 boys, and they started harassing. They run up to the car. Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
I think I saw
Yeah.
that.
So and then they get out of the car for what? Can y'all identify yourself? They want to identify themselves. So then they start busting the window. So then as they bust in the window, the father drives off. As he's driving off, they start shooting at the car, trying to kill them. And then, they start videotaping, showing the bullet holes in the car, and then it gets news attention. So then they go to ICE, and they you started shooting at the car. But
3 gunshots can be heard.
Thank God the bullets didn't go through.
Because him actually shooting at the car is not on video, but you hear the gunshots going off. And we see the bullets he's on some. That was him tapping on the glass the other day. Tapping on the glass.
Hey, nobody. Hey, that's some good liars, man. I'll tell you one thing they got down.
And it's they tried to kill them.
He said that he didn't shoot. Sorry, that those 3 shots were him tapping on the glass. But we have bullet holes in the side of the vehicle now.
As they was driving away, so it's they federal agents. So you in the catch-22 because the father he eluded them, so that's fleeing and eluding.
Yeah.
So you running from a federal agent, so it's if he didn't run, they'd be kidnapped or dead. So that's a crazy situation.
And they might not even go to the proper. They might not even send them to the proper camp, because if they're not really official, they don't really know the official place to send them to.
They trying to get them to I.C.E. That's what they trying to get them to. They trying to fill it up to justify more getting built in El Salvador.
Remember that? Remember that situation where I think it was in Wisconsin or Milwaukee when that kid came from out of state. It was around the time it was rioting. I think it was around the George Floyd or maybe the Breonna girl.
That was the George Floyd, right?
Yeah, and then that kid came from all the way from.
He came from Illinois, but it was right on the border.
But he came he was a part of he was helping.
Yeah.
And everything. And he had no rights or he wasn't part of anything, and they embraced him because they say some actually thought that he was a cop, or they actually thought he was part of the help. And it sounds like that's what's happening now with some of these people, because now when you say that, if he didn't take off, then we don't know what happens. By him taking off, they had to cover themselves, so that just prove that they're not part of the federal government, because they can't, how you said, you're fleeing. They couldn't even say that. They had to be he drove up, but that part didn't happen and everything. So what, we didn't shoot, they didn't drive up, we just knocked on glass, and they try to make it seem like it's as clean as humanly possible. I really hope that the government, and I do hope our city officers and our city police, and I know a mayor just signed a bill about them not being able to use certain properties here to not letting ICE use certain buildings here to operate whatever it is that they operating.
I don't know exactly about that bill, but it's definitely some friction even between them and the police.
Yeah.
So like the protest is happening and they protesting and rioting against ICE. And the whole time, like the police is there on the side, ICE is disrespecting and cussing out the senior officers, calling them names, saying, you know, do your effing job, you know, all of these slurs, some racial slurs.
Yeah.
And he was a black cop, and he was like, you know, I'm a senior officer.
In a lengthy conversation with the I-Team, Broadview Police Chief Thomas Mills says he was verbally attacked by an ICE agent during a protest outside of the immigration processing facility earlier this month. This is the mayor of Broadview just issued a scathing letter to ICE, accusing agents of regularly exposing local police to tear gas.
I've been doing this job a long time now, but I was shocked. I've never been spoken to by a fellow law enforcement officer in such a way.
And the fact that they talking to the police like this, that means that they just think they're all the way above the law.
Yeah, especially since nothing's been done about it. So the simple fact that these people are not being arrested, not being detained, that's a problem. That is a very, very huge problem. And how do we fix that? Like, what do we do from right now? What's going on? And can it be fixed and everything? Do Trump have that much power that he can choose who get locked up and who not? Like, how is that possible that the officers can't arrest people that's not part of the federal government and posing as a federal government agent or illegal immigrant agent? How do that happen? He still should be able to ask them for his identification before and everything.
Yeah, I mean that's a issue that's tied into how our government structure is built on a whole, because it's like we have the state powers, but the state has to abide by the federal powers.
Okay.
So when something that's a federal agency, they always above anything state level. That's why the DEA, the FBI, they can come in and they can investigate state police. So like if, you know, you got some police brutality going on, they get investigated by the FBI. The FBI comes down and, you know, investigates them. But who investigates the FBI? That's a problem. Who investigates the CIA? That's the problem. They are closed off internally, and they only got to answer within their self or to other federal government powers. So with ICE being a federal agency, they are over the police in Chicago, and they can treat them like crap because they are over them in the government structure. But like, what can we do about it?
Yeah. I mean,
You see them niggas run. You see a bunch of green ICE agents. You get up out of there, cause like, I mean, I saw they was trying to. I think it was a dude. He was delivering. He was on a pizza cart down in Chicago, and he was like, you know, trying to argue with him, and they was like, "All right, get him."
Get him. What's that?
And they had to chasing him, and he ran off on his bike. They really had to escape, because like if they get you, because like
there's no telling where you're gonna go.
The reason why it's called kidnapping, and I've been using that word as well, because like once they get you and they detain you, they can fast track you either to the border or to CCOT.
Yeah.
But like once they get you over international waters,
it's out of the United States hands.
Yeah, and they don't have to abide by any laws and
in the United States,
and that's why everybody is dying over there. And it's really like, man, like if they kidnapped me and said I was a MS-13 gang member and put me in CCOT, that would probably be the end.
Let's hope that don't happen. Let's just hope that don't happen. You know,
both of those common knowledge guys, we gotta sell for them.
You know, make sure you keep your IDs on you. Make sure you keep your birth certificate on you. You know, that's what it's going to lead to. Then that's now we're going to have to really make sure that we have an ID on us. We're going to have to make sure we have our birth certificate on us. Damn near our social security card, passport.
Can't get them no excuse.
You can't give them,
Like with Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the only thing that really helped him was his family and everybody raising hell and getting national media attention. If it wasn't for them being outspoken, they was trying to sweep him under the rug and let him die. So, really, if any of your people are affected, y'all got to raise hell.
Yes.
You got to raise hell. You got to get news media involved. You got to damn get Steve Harvey involved. We got to get everybody involved.
And make sure you got proof, and make sure you got that person's information. Make sure you got their IDs. Make sure you bring they check stub, anything that proves that they is or are a U.S. citizen here and they has been here and they went through the proper procedures. Because I understand the ICE, they do have a job, and it is to protect our borders from illegal immigrants and illegal gangs and stuff like that. But also they got to do it in a respectful manner and in a legal manner too. So right now there are some things that's happening that's not legal, and we need to make sure that we stick together and not let it get too far out of hand and everything. So when you see somebody getting snatched up, don't just pull out your phone and record them. Like, actually try to get their information from their homes, and that maybe you can save them before they get fast-tracked and everything.
Yeah, because maybe once they leave your site, nothing is really guaranteed.
Yeah, so go get your state ID. I know somebody right now. No, for real though, I know somebody right now that don't even have a state ID. He's walking around.
Hopefully he don't look Hispanic.
Hey, he kind of do. He kind of do. He walking around right now with a sheet of paper with a temporary state ID. I'm like, yo, how's that possible? So yeah, make sure you get your state ID. Make sure you have your passports. Make sure you have all your identifications on you, and don't give these people a reason to fast track you or use unlawful, because they're looking for a reason now. And like, same for me. Like, even my experience hasn't been that bad as a Black American and everything with the police, but I do understand how traps are set, right? So sometimes they waiting for you to, or they may do little things to get a reaction out of you, just enough for them to be like, okay, now you getting a little spicy on me. Now I can pull you out your car, and then now I can search your vehicle. Now you want to curse at me. You want to yank and pull and mean mug me. That's all I need and everything. So don't give these people a reason and everything. Don't fight with them. Don't argue with them. If they ask you some questions, just ask it with them. Don't mean mug them, because they're looking for any little thing they can possibly use and everything. Same for you too, man. You a big dude, man. You intimidating, man. You get out the car, they're like, oh, we gonna need backup. Is this the strongest man?
Goddamn ICE, man. But yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on it. You got anything else on it?
No, that's right about it for the most part. It's, just stick together, okay? Just stick together, and don't let fear and don't let this is not a time to be apart. That's all I would say. This is not a time to judge one another. This is not a time to think one is better than the other, because right now we all are in trouble. These are troubled times and everything.
Yeah, so I've been NoID.ols, aka No ID. This is Kenny Analyst.
And this is the Common Knowledge Podcast, and we are out.